Llama talk. Blah, blah, blah. What's up, Jack? How's it going?
Hey Magnus, how's it going?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Llama talk. Episode 6 of Survivor. We're a few days after the show. Jack and I, we've been busy. It's spring break. We're not. I mean, obviously, the second we have to like procrastinate on schoolwork, then we'll do the llama talks on time. But right now, sorry, we're a few days late. But nonetheless, an eventful episode of Survivor. I mean, I didn't particularly enjoy it very much. What do you think about it?
Um, I really like the challenges. There was that. I thought they were really cool challenges. Well, I mean, maybe the memory one's not that great, but I really liked the first one with the like slingshot thing. I thought that was really cool. But other than that, I thought game talk was like, eh, there's nothing really like the episode wasn't really that great. I mean, you could see that like the power couple between Rodney and Joaquin was like getting too much, and I think it was right for Mike to cut them because Rodney was playing so stupid. Like he was like, oh yeah, this is best for our game. I'll bring Joaquin in, dude. He's in my back pocket. It's like you're just giving him a reason to get rid of him. He wants you. Mike wants you, Rodney, in his back pocket. He doesn't need you bringing someone else that he can go to the final with.
Well, I mean, it's tough to say. I didn't like. Obviously, the move is difficult because I think that if the Red Tribe were to go to Tribal Council, I mean, obviously, when Mike's looking at it, Kelly survived the last Tribal Council. Most likely, as an outsider, like from Mike's perspective, you're thinking that Shireen's going to be the next one, and does Kelly really have that big of a chance to go? But if Nagarote went to Tribal and Kelly got voted off, then obviously that would be bad for him in the long run. But I'm not sure, actively throwing the challenge just because there's a chance Kelly will be voted off to get rid of Joaquin is particularly the best move. Because I think that, right now you alienate Tyler, you alienate Joaquin. Well, I mean he's gone, and Rodney's kind of on the outs also, and Joe. As much as they saved Joe, Joe is still gonna switch sides and go with the no callers. So why not just like try to win the challenge, which he easily could have, and you know really try and get Tyler and Joaquin on their side with the blue collars. They can maybe bring Carolyn over, and then like they can take it. Because otherwise, I feel like going into a merge, obviously, like it's hard to see how it's going to pan out. But I'm not sure that face value this is the best move for Mike.
Well, I mean, potentially they do alienate Tyler. They do alienate Rodney. They may gain Joe, and they may gain Haley and Jen and Will in that respect.
I,
And
I, I think that Haley, Jen, and Will w- would be stupid to go with Joe and the five blue collars and just like have a nine-person alliance or minus Rodney an eight-person alliance. I just think that I mean, even if they throw the challenge to get rid of Joe, and then really just go gung ho on like us six, because Tyler and Joaquin are smart enough. Like
mhm.
that's a good route for them to take because they can be like, okay, maybe if it's us, and then we maybe pull in Sierra, and then maybe like Jen when we get down to the final. So like they still have room to work, and if they really just try and solidify that pre-merge, that swapped group, that
Mhm.
tribe, then they have numbers going into the merge. But basically, all this did is it like gained Kelly as an ally, and I'm pretty sure that if the Red Tribe were to go to Tribal Council, Kelly would have been an ally anyway.
Well, I mean, it's weird because from what I'm understanding, Mike was always in alliance with Kelly, but we never really saw that. And I feel like maybe it was a lot more one-sided, where Mike really trusted Kelly, but Kelly didn't really like put her trust in anyone yet. And when Mike did this, it really solidified it, and that's what we saw as a viewer. But I do get where you're coming from, where like throwing a challenge may not have been the best idea ever, and it's rarely ever a good idea. But I mean, really, it didn't pan out that bad. Where can Rodney run to? Where
Well,
can I
I
mean
mean,
Rodney?
it
Go
didn't pan
ahead.
out that badly, but like I'm just saying, like, Max keep on like it's about numbers. It's a game about numbers. We need to solidify Kelly as a number. Joaquin's against us. I feel like this is like a final seven, a final nine type of move, because when you think about it, just in terms of numbers, Joaquin is a potential number going into the merge. Joaquin will vote against Joe. Joaquin will vote against the no callers. Joe will not vote against Joe. Joe will not vote against no callers. And I mean, I'm pretty sure Mike and the blue collars know that like everyone hates Shireen. Max just got voted off. Shireen isn't like really a, Shireen's on the outs. I just think that they could have, utilized Joaquin and I felt like the original move to blindside Joe would have been pretty good. Plus, Rodney's a hothead. Rodney could just like go rogue next week, and I feel like it's not smart. Rather than like if they go to Joe, literally everyone's happy, and then Mike these people can continue to play both sides. Sierra can continue to play both sides, rather than having to make like a decision this early.
Well, I mean, the whole thing that I mean, you can't be blind to this. Obviously, after they took out Joe, who were they going to take out next? They were going to try to convince Rodney to take out either Dan or Mike. It's a no-brainer. That's what they saw, and they knew that Joaquin was playing Rodney. And of course, Rodney wasn't going to go against Mike and Dan there because Rodney understands that they're numbers. But they were really trying to pull him over because once they had that advantage. You know?
Yeah,
And
but this,
Sierra
like,
already wants to break away. I feel like you're saying that they didn't have to throw it, and I don't think they had to throw it, but they did take care of a situation that could have like hurt them a lot.
well, no, yeah. Now you're saying like if because if that's the case, then they really shouldn't have thrown the. If like, oh well, who are we going to get next if we go to tribal again before the merge? Then they should have just like waited a little bit longer. Like they should have waited for a Sheeran boot, and then maybe be like, okay, Kelly's might be in trouble, and Joaquin's kind of stirring the pot. Plus, from an entertainment perspective, like who like why are viewers happy that Joaquin is gone? You know what I mean?
He wasn't entertaining.
Who do you think is entertaining? Sheeran, because she's your third pick?
No, I think she's entertaining because she's annoying, and that's good TV. Joaquin barely talked at all. He barely
Joaquin,
talked on the episode he left. Like that says a lot. And in Tribal Council,
no,
he barely said anything.
that's
I think that Rodney's good
it's because
TV.
of editing. Tribal councils are like 3 hours, and like Joaquin, I feel like Joaquin was a
But
funny
the
guy.
editing,
No, he was entertaining. Remember his like Sharon's a sociopath. You were saying that confessional was hilarious. Don't go back on it now. Who
I'm
like
not saying it's not
oh
hilarious.
oh
I'm not saying
is Jen the most entertaining one now because of her hilarious turtle commentary? Okay, just hear me out here. Okay, do you think this pre-merge was anything special?
no, I don't. I honestly don't think it was anything special. But
I think the
can we go back? Can you hear my side of this argument?
it's not an argument. Joaquin, I mean,
You're not
Joaquin
hearing
isn't
it
gonna say he's
though.
the most entertaining. I'm not gonna say he's the most entertaining. I was like, he was an underdog and he had a good character, I thought, and I don't know. I'm
I
disappointed he went
think
home over like Rodney.
I think the editing and entertainment are basically the same thing, and he was not edited well enough to be a good character. He barely talked enough to be like, oh yeah, that was like super funny. I'll remember that for like ever. He wasn't that memorable of a character, and I'm not sad that he's gone.
No, I agree with you for that whole entire statement except for the last part. I don't. I think you should be sad that he's gone. I'm saying relative to this cast, where no one is edited as being likable, and I'm actively disliking almost everybody.
Hmm.
Uh, I thought that he was definitely an upper tier person. Like, I mean, when you're just thinking about, Dan, Rodney, Sierra, Kelly, Jen, Haley, Sheer, like, literally almost everybody in like that's left. I felt like Joaquin. I liked him as a character more, and
Yeah.
that's I'm not saying like Joaquin on Cagayan or on Token Genes or seasons we really love. matches up with any of those major characters. I'm just saying that given like, you know, the garbage fest we've had for this pre-merge, I don't want to be too critical, but like, especially given the hype, I feel like I have to be more critical of it. Um,
Yeah.
it was really nothing special, and I feel like Joaquin could have could have done, could have done some funny things if he made it a little further. And I just hate how every single tribal council, it's like, oh, Rodney's an asshole. Rodney is literally like the biggest douchebag to ever walk on the planet. And then Lindsay gets voted off, and then the viewers, like the only thing that does in terms of editing is it's like, oh wow, that was surprising, but I'm not happy about that. Like I would want Rodney to go. And I mean, for me personally, it's kind of like the same thing with people like Will, who I don't feel are making good strategic moves, and they're just like kind of sailing, and Dan, who's actively playing a horrible social game, who's just sailing by. And I feel like this is, if you look at the 6 people who have voted off pre-merge, I feel like all of them are better players than a great majority of the people left in the game.
I I agree. I agree. I mean, you mentioned how the editing's making me hate people. It's really getting harder. It's like last season where it's like, who do I root for? Like I was really rooting for Jeremy at one point, and then like kind of ruined that. And I was rooting for Reed, and he ruined that. And like I really don't know who to root for. Maybe Mike. That's who I'm like. I kind of like Mike. I kind of like Jen a little bit more. I hate her because of the what's it like the thing with Nina and stuff. But like I do like Jen is in a
There,
really good position in the game,
but
and
there's nothing to actually like. What has she done that's like she's just like I just feel like she comes off as whiny and like it kind of entitled a lot. I just don't like Mike's actually giving us stuff to like, I think,
mhm.
but I'm not really seeing like the likability factor from Jen, which is weird. It's like such a strange edit she's giving because I feel like they are literally like trying really hard to make us like her, but
Mhm.
I really feel like it's not working for most people.
But Magnus, our podcast is based around being whiny and entitled to our opinions. How can
Well,
you not like her?
I mean, I'm entitled to my opinion, but like, people like the no collar people. I mean, I don't want to, stereotype them at all, but they just kind of give off this vibe like, oh, we'll just, lay back and do whatever, and it's just going to work out for us. Of course Joe is going to get on Survivor. Of course Joe's not going to get blindsided because that's the type of person Joe is. He's the type of person that's just like, obviously he's not going to be a pre-merge boot. It's just going to work out for Joe. Like that's who Joe is. That's how Jen is. That's how Haley is. And like, I don't particularly like those type of people that are just like, oh, it just happens to them. Like, you know, like, oh, of course this person in Big Brother is going to be picked for the veto competition. Of course, like, there's just some people that, act kind of entitled, and obviously it's going to pan out nicely for them. And I feel like the no callers are kind of like that this season.
Yeah.
Um, so I
I
don't like
mean,
that.
the thing is, I get where you're coming from. I don't like when people just have a silver spoon in the mouth the entire game and they didn't even have to work for it, you know. And but ultimately there is one winner, and I don't think Joe has it in him to win the game. I don't think Haley has it in her to win the game. I don't think Will has it in him to win the game, and I don't think Jen really has it in her. But very well they could, granted. But I feel like there's not enough like to them. They're not like aware enough, and they're not like actually playing the game like some other people are. You know, even though Max went home, um, you know, soon, relatively soon, but he was still able to make like a bigger impact than most of the no caller by like what he brought to the table and like actually playing the game. You know.
Yeah, I just don't like it when I just feel like all the no callers, they're just like, yes, we deserve to be on Survivor in the first place over everybody that applied. Of course we deserve to make the merge. Of course we deserve, like, I don't know. I feel like most likely one or two of them is going to fall in the final tribal council, and I would be very surprised if I felt like they earned it because I'm not like hypercritical of a lot of people. Like I genuinely feel like at the end of the day, Natalie deserved to be in that final tribal council. She played like well at the very end. I feel like she
Mm.
kind of just sat back and was brought to a certain point,
Which
but at a
Natalie?
certain point, I'm talking about Natalie Anderson from last season. But at a certain point, she did really start playing and gain my respect and stuff. And I do feel like, normally the person that wins, they really earned it. But I'm just like pretty critical of the no colors. And like, I don't know. I'm just really, really like last season, I was like, oh, I'm struggling to find somebody to root for. But I mean, this season, it's not even close to last season. Like, I'm really like have no clue whatsoever. Like the fact that I'm so obsessed with Joaquin and I'm rooting for him so much. I admit that he's not the best character. He's not much to root for. But I've realized myself that I'm rooting for him and I'm scared that I'm rooting for him because that like shows this cast like there's not much to work with.
Hey, well, I mean, everyone has different opinions. I mean, I think someone we could root for definitely is Tyler. I want to see what he has planned for the merge. I really like Carolyn's a good character. She's pretty smart. She knows the game. I've enjoyed like watching her play and stuff. I think it's weird how when Shrink turns to her, she kind of blows her away. But I feel like ultimately she's smart enough to know that she can like keep Shirin in her back pocket. I wouldn't want her like to do anything rash, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say that like I'm rooting for Tyler, and that's basically. The thing is, I keep on just forgetting about Tyler because like he's getting nothing at it. Like he didn't speak at all last episode except for like once at tribal,
Hmm.
and yeah, I don't know. The editing's just been like it's been wonky. I feel like last season they did a lot of viewer blindsides. But looking back on the editing for last season, I'm actually like I feel like the editing was really good, where Natalie still got a pretty consistent edit, just more towards the end, but it's not like she was invisible towards the beginning. And then you really had these like big characters like Jeremy and Josh who ended up getting blindsided, and then John who ended up getting blindsided. But for this, it's like they've resorted to like really, really negative editing towards people, and then saving those people who are negatively edited, and that's a surprise for viewers instead of it being like, wow, this person is super positively edited and then gets voted off. Instead, it's like, oh wow, Rodney didn't get voted off, or wow, again, Rodney didn't get voted. Like
Or
it's like,
Will
and
or something like that.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, which one's more annoying, Max or Sheeran? And it's like, oh, Nina's complaining about this, and then Vince is just a creep, and it's I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing where it's like there's just like a lot of like negativity, and I feel like very little, you know, great strategic moves, and even like the negativity of like Kagayan, like that had the best moments, like the talking llama, like the hilarious moments coming from like altercations and arguments, and this is just kind of like unpleasant and a little annoying. But I mean, it's still early, but I think that pre-merge is important. It's like half or a third of the season. So I think that even if this is like a stellar second half,
Hmm.
it's kind of hard because honestly, like it's been a really bad pre-merge in my opinion. Like I know this is my opinion. Other people are like, oh wow, I was so shocked at the Vince vote, and oh man, didn't see Joaquin getting voted off. Wow, like, but I mean, looking back on seasons like Caramel, and they get such a bad rap. The editing wasn't very good, but I was still
Well,
surprised at tribal councils and enjoyed the episodes. And I feel like the last three seasons had better, pre-merges than this. That's my humble opinion. But people need to tone down the hype. It's probably going to get a lot better because otherwise, like Jeff has no right hyping it up. But I think the pre-merge was definitely bad.
pre-merge. I'm glad we're over it right now because it didn't look like it was gonna get any better with those like tribes. Um, I know, I totally agree. Caramon had a way better pre-merge than this. I feel like Caramon's whole like gameplay and everything, its whole hype was in the pre-merge. I feel like Blood vs. Water had an amazing pre-merge, kind of a lackluster merge, but still made up for it, and like it was a good season, you know.
Yeah.
But even last season, it built it up where it's like, oh, John Rocker, John Rocker's playing. John Rocker gets blindsided because like he fucking like he got rid of Val and stuff like that, and Jeremy and Josh like gonna go at it, and like the whole like the first merge episode, Julie quits and we're put off. Like Jeremy would have gone home and stuff like that, and we get to like see it all play out and stuff like that, and it built us up to the merge. This has done nothing. This is I don't know. It's not fun to watch sometimes. It's not very entertaining. I don't think it's super hype. It shouldn't be as hyped up as it is for now.
No, I'm thinking, yeah, I agree exactly. And just like this episode, people like, Golden Boy Joe, who a lot of viewers, like a lot of people perceive him as one of the few people we can actually root for. I like really didn't like in this episode. I felt like he was sitting back doing nothing. And like the fact that the blue collar idol still hasn't been found yet, it's like, it's mind-boggling to me. I understand that there's some etiquette where you can't just go out searching, but Joe, like, no one has talked to him at all. He is clearly on the outs, and he's just like, you know, the idols aren't like impossible to find. He should be, combing the beach for 6 days in that position, looking for an idol, even if he does believe like someone else has found it. I just feel like someone should have the idol, and I feel like Joe was just kind of like laying back, and got 3 votes, but he's just like, I'm gonna go back to my no collar. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna eat some food at the merge feast, and it's all gonna work out. Like he's gonna do his little confessional thing, and gonna be all positive and cheery, and he's gonna get voted off like after going on an immunity run, gonna get voted off like 7th or something. Like I don't know. I feel like Mike's playing a good game, and that's probably one of the only people I can say that about right now.
Yeah, Mike's playing one of those games where it's like he's not strategically great to any means, but he does understand numbers, and he does have a good social game, and I feel like that can really carry him to the end. And I like seeing players like that get to the end sometimes, because I don't know, it's like refreshing. It's like a different take on like Survivor winners aren't always like one person. There's no one person that's always going to win Survivor. That's what I love about Survivor. You never like know anyone, even Zane from fucking what season was he on? Shit, it's the
Philippines.
one Philippines. He could have won that season. Anyone has a chance to win Survivor, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I've been going back to this tribal council. Like, I mean, the more and more I think about it, it's really like because a 3-tribe, a merge a season with 3 tribes, it's hard to anticipate. And like part of me, looking back on other seasons, the white collar, it might just be good to throw challenges to vote off your own, small tribe, so you and 2 other people can go into the merge, like the Brains tribe, the white collar tribe, and Saboga, in All Stars. They all made it pretty far because if the no callers and blue callers are smart, they're going to want to get the white collars so they can like make a strong majority. And just like I don't like the move, even though Rodney doesn't really have anywhere else to go. I feel like Jen, Haley. I mean, they can bat their eyelashes, even though they know he's a meathead. They can probably make Rodney come over. I just feel like the move to go to tribal council and lie to Rodney and to not vote the way you're going to vote, well, you probably could have just been like, yo, Rodney, I'm sorry, like we made a decision, we're going to vote off Joaquin, he's really dangerous. He can get mad about it, but there's nothing he can do about it. But
Well, I mean,
I just know the blindsiding him. It's like it's hard to gain back trust after that, and especially Rodney's kind of a hothead.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable unless they're gonna tell him like right last second, right before tribal council, Rodney can explode, and they don't want Rodney to do that, because Joaquin could get nervous and stuff like that. I don't want any implication of that, you know. So, I mean, I understand them not telling Rodney, but I get where you're coming from and stuff. But also going back to Joe, I mean, you're saying he's just like sitting around, like doing nothing and stuff like that. And, like, maybe this is a strategy, maybe not. But I think like sometimes if you have like big personalities on a tribe or something, it's best to just like lay back and just like let them like figure it out themselves. You know, even if you are the target, sometimes it's best to just like not give them any more reasons to target you at least.
Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, it worked out, like looking back on it, but like, I just don't know. It's 'cause like Joe's the devil you know, and like Joaquin, I guess, is the devil you don't know, because you know that Joe's gonna go back to the no callers. Like, basically, like he didn't come up with, or it didn't look like he came up with a story like, yeah, like me, Nina, and Vince were like final three, and then we like draw rocks the first try. I don't like I don't know. He could have like come up with some type of lie where he doesn't seem like he's close with them at all. But like I don't know. I feel like, I mean, it worked out for Joe, obviously, but I really think it's like really lucky how it panned out. And I feel like Joaquin just kind of got screwed over by Rodney because, Joaquin, needs numbers. He needs people to be on his side. So if Rodney's really pushing this bromance, if you go back to the scenes, it's Rodney's always the one who's kind of saying like, "Oh, you and me, we're voting for each other, like, we're like two peas in a pod, we're apples and oranges," which I don't think he understands what that actually means. Uh, but like
Did he
Rodney,
say that?
yeah, he said that. Um, but I don't think Rodney like Rodney was really pushing for it, and like Joaquin, like he said in his interviews, like being too social was his downfall, and he recognizes that he got too close to Rodney. But I think that what we kind of saw a glimpse of is that he really, really, you know, got to know Sierra and really pulled Sierra in and solidified her. We didn't really get to see that, but Sierra just kind of went back on him. And I think for Sierra, it might be smart because like, she'd rather sit at the end with Rodney than with Joaquin and Tyler.
Mhm.
So I think that's props for Sierra because putting up with Rodney and Dan is really really tough.
Yeah.
But I don't really see Sierra like making it to the end.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Let's talk more about like the actual episode. So we talked about the reward challenge. I thought you said you thought the challenge was cool. I like the slingshots. I just didn't understand how when you hit the beanbag in the middle of the plank, the flag went up. I just like, is there like a midget standing behind it or something? Like, it didn't
That's
make
what I
sense to me.
thought. It made no sense because it goes up. There's no like lever or anything. It's not like it falls over or anything. I, I literally think there was a guy behind it, like behind each one, just raising a flag when it hit it.
Yeah,
That's
I thought the challenge was kind of like weird. I didn't know why Jen was allowed to go twice, and if it's the rule that like, oh, everyone has to shoot once at least, I think that's
Mhm.
kind of a stupid rule. Um, because like, why not make it so like, doesn't it make it more exciting and put people on the spot more to make everybody have to hit a target? Or,
Yeah.
and isn't it smart to have like, everybody run up there one at a time and frantically shoot one pathetic shot and then have the best person go for the rest of the time? But I don't know. I thought the challenge was, I don't like those type of challenges where it's like the whole first part is basically meaningless because you get like a two-shot advantage or something. It's like such a big deal getting up that tower. But I thought it
It
was an
looked
exciting challenge.
it
It
looked
looked good.
cool. It looked cool. That's what I liked about it. I mean, I like Rodney almost like fucking falling like out of that rope bridge thing. He just like jumped onto it. I don't think he realized it was just one rope and just like literally almost fell. It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and I feel like the slingshots, it's kind of just like a crapshoot. Like it's not like true talent is gonna win out on that slingshot. It's like people who aren't slingshot expert, like Sierra got it on like the first try, and then Joe, who's like an athlete takes like more tries.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the no call, like Jen, you know, success in crapshoot challenges and then like claiming that she's some challenge beats later on.
She won't calm down, Magnus.
I'm not heated at all. I'm just saying like I
Okay, man.
this is why I like Tyler because I resonate with Tyler. Tyler is, he's analytical. He's not the type of person that normally gets on Survivor. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
What do you think about the immunity challenge? Like we talked a little bit about the decision to throw it.
It
Like
was.
overall, for every person, obviously for Joaquin, it's not a good move. But do you think the decision to throw it was like good at all?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have enough insight. For Mike, it was a good move. For Rodney, it was a really bad idea to throw it because he didn't know that they were like actually gonna go after Joaquin and stuff. I thought it was really awkward when Mike was throwing it though. I was like, Kelly could not get it for the life of her, and that was. I don't know how they didn't hear him. They must have heard him talking, right? Because it was really
I don't
obvious that
know.
he was throwing it. Oh well. But I don't know. I guess for Sierra, it kind of helps her out because she really shows where her loyalty lies and shows where like her alliance is, you know.
But
So
I
in a
think
way,
that's bad. I don't think that's good because like I think if
well, I mean,
Sierra kind of if she can ride out this middle man swing vote thing for as long as possible, because when you're at the merge, that's when that's the best time to be the swing vote, because then you solidify yourself an alliance that can get you to the final 6 or 7. At when there's 13 people left, then you solidify alliance that's going to be meaningless in 2 days when the merge happens and everything reshuffles. So as much as I think it's good that like Mike, fully trusts her, Mike was going to be like, you know, kissing her feet either way, trying to beg for her vote when they get to the merge. And now I feel like she's just made it so it's exactly like what she doesn't want for them to feel entitled to her vote. I feel like they're kind of, feel entitled to having her vote now. I
well,
just
I
feel
mean,
like why not throw it and get rid of Joe, or why not throw it at all? I just don't.
here's the thing for Sierra. I feel like at least like she knows that like they'll treat her well. She did something for them, so she can hold them accountable for that. And she knows that like they'll protect her in Alliance now. And also I feel like we wouldn't really know what it would be at the merge if they didn't throw it. If she would be a really important swing vote because it could possibly be 4 versus 4 versus I don't know if either a white collar or a no collar went home, or maybe even blue collar. It could be like 3 versus 4 versus 4, and you don't know where she is, and would it really be that important of a role as a swing vote?
Yeah, but like, I mean, just thinking about it, do you even think that like keeping Kelly, like if Nagarote went to tribal and voted off Kelly, would that even be bad for Mike's game? Because I honestly right now I see Mike winning in terms of an edit. I feel like he has the winner's edit,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like he's the only one that's been edited, and it's not even in an obvious way, like Josh and Jeremy, how they were last year. But
Yeah.
I just feel like I see him winning, but I don't see it being like, oh, the Blue Claw Alliance, they make it all the way to the end. I see like a bunch of crazy shit happening and then a new alliance forming where Mike can go to the end. And I feel
Yeah.
like if right now it's at the point where you have 5 blue collars, I think that the other people would be stupid not to gang up on them. So I feel like if that number went down to 4 or 3, it could only benefit Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I think
mean,
that if he has Rodney and Dan as buffers still going into the merge where his blue collar tribe isn't targeted, I feel like that would be best. So I mean, I feel like obviously they're antsy to play the game and
yeah.
antsy to throw challenges, but I mean this easily could have backfired and Mike could have gone home if Joaquin finds an idol, if you know
Mhm.
if Joe's like, you know what? like, screw this. I don't want my name being written down at all. I'm going to go, throw Mike under the bus and come up with a bunch of lies and really convince them because, Rodney doesn't need that much convincing to turn on Mike. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of stuff could have gone wrong. And obviously, we can say, like, oh, it's a great move. Joaquin was shifty and it worked out. I feel like it was, huge danger. You had the means to win the challenge. Kelly probably wouldn't have gone home anyway. Shireen would have been voted off, and um, Carolyn would have had less options and probably, might have swung over to Joaquin and Tyler. I just feel like, I don't know.
I
Obviously, it
mean,
worked out, so I
it's
can't
so there's
criticize
so
it too
much.
much. Go ahead.
I mean, there's so much that goes in the episode we don't know about. From an age standpoint, they made it seem like a really good move from Mike. Okay, but I mean, obviously they don't know where the other tribes head at. Yeah, they know Sharon's fucking annoying, but like, do they really know that? Oh, maybe she could have turned on Max. Maybe she's, really like Max and Kelly were to get like got together and like did try to do something like that. But, like, they really like don't know. So in order to like avoid all of what they don't know, they know that they can fix what's in their own tribe. So that's what they did, and it's a bold move. It can. We don't know how it's gonna pay off because like you never know going into the merge, how it's going to actually pay off. I have a hard time seeing the blue collar not being targeted since like a huge mass of them were on one tribe, and the Scrabblers on their tribe right now are probably going to go back to their other alliances, and it's going to be them versus like maybe Kelly coming over to the blue tribe.
Yeah, and I just think that, I don't know, looking at this move, you have to look at like the risk versus the reward. I feel like the risk is that Mike, he could have gone home 13th. Obviously, like he wasn't in danger. That's clear from like, what we saw, but he doesn't know that 100% for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the risk is he could have gone home then, and the reward is we don't really even know what the reward is because the merge is going to be such a clusterfuck anyway.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when in doubt, and there was doubt here, like
Mm-hmm.
Joaquin very well, even though he was getting dangerously close to Rodney, I feel like that's an easy thing. Let that relationship kind of, form a little bit, and then it's easy to convince, Jen and Haley after they voted off, Joe and Will after the merge to be like, yo, look at Joaquin and Rodney. They're butting up. They're great at challenges. Let's vote them off. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, it might not have been premature, but I feel like they had the potential to make. It's not like it's now or never. If we don't get rid of Joaquin now, we're never going to be able to convince anyone to do it ever again. I feel like they had the means to convince people, but I mean, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying it's a horrible move. I'm not saying it's terrible. Obviously, it could work out very well.
Yeah.
I'm against throwing challenges unless the person is like a cancerous like
Mm-hmm.
tumor on the tribe, which Joaquin wasn't that. Joaquin had the
Yeah.
potential to be with the blue collars.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the thing is, I agree. Like, both sides make sense to me. Like I said, they can like obviously fix something, try to like move on to the merge stronger than they were with the fractures, or they can really win the challenge and try to do that same thing. Of course, they'll probably lose Joe, and he'll probably go back over to the no collar, but they can really solidify Joaquin and Joaquin and Tyler, and the Blue Collar Alliance get Kelly over. And but I think the one problem was that Sierra was really pushing for that fracture, and she's one that's like in the group. So I think she kind of started this whole problem herself, if that makes sense. And
yeah,
like, I feel like it was kind of hard for them to really like get a tight bond on their alliance, like Tony was able to do. Tony and Trish were able to do when they like had the tribe swap in Cagayan, and like that was a really song alliance that moved on. And even though Tony would like blindside them, he could still have them rely on him because they needed him to like beat Spencer and stuff like that. And so if Mike could have tried to like strengthen that and like not just like let Joaquin and Tyler like pull Rodney away from him and like Sierra away from him, then maybe that would have been a way better move to make than just throwing the challenge again on Joaquin.
And I honestly feel like if they were to vote Joaquin off, because right now they vote Joaquin off. They have a pretty hard time, I see, of, Rodney's going to be really pissed. But I feel like if they vote Rodney off, Joaquin's going to do like what he did with So and be like, oh well, and then, team up with Tyler and be like, no, guys, I understand, I get it. And, I still feel like there's a chance for him to be with them. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think that, like, if you're just looking at it from like, oh, Mike, wants to make a big move to have on his resume for, final tribal, I feel like you should just wait till the merge to do that, where people voting can actually see, because, even if turns out to be a fantastic move that benefits him later on, it's kind of like a hidden move that's not really, not many people are really seeing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All I can say is we'll see. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's stupid or not. I think that, it could have been really stupid, and I think it's an unnecessary risk.
Yeah. I mean, going back to, Philippines and like talking about tribes just like basically being broken down to two people where they're super solid, like the brains, they can move on and they can like get that momentum where people want to work with them because they look like less of a threat and their numbers that they can use, that's a really good move. But like if you're on like, let's say like we restart this season and like the no caller one, Max wants to like throw the challenge so he can vote someone out. There's 1 out of like 5 chances that he's gonna be the one to go, So like it's a really like dangerous move to do. It's a really dangerous move to like throw the challenge to like try to like gain momentum in the game. And I understand like where like the brains could like really were able to work the game for a while. It's like a hard. I don't know. Like, what do you think of that?
It was like throwing a challenge.
Yeah. No, I mean like throwing challenges to like break down your numbers so you go in and merge with less numbers or something like that.
I think that for a 3-tribe season, like, it's risky.
It's hard on a 3-tribe season. It's really hard on a 3-tribe season because like you're definitely one of the persons that can go.
Yeah. Plus, like, I don't know. I feel like confidence at any point in Survivor is just so wrong. I feel like Mike had no right to be as confident as he was. Like, Sierra, who was the swing vote at the time, was really tight with Joaquin, and Sierra actively really hated Dan, who's in your alliance, Mike. So I feel like, being that confident that, Dan's not going to be blindsided or that Sierra's actually going to vote with you guys, I feel like that's really naive. And it worked out, and maybe it's just a gut instinct that he had to go with. But I don't know. I feel like at any point, if I'm like, oh my God, there's just like us 3 people. If I'm on a season of Survivor and there's someone like Sharon who is for sure gonna who everyone's telling me is for sure gonna go home next tribal council, might as well just throw it. I'm thinking like, no way. They're trying to blindside me. I'm not having this. Like, you shouldn't feel comfortable. You shouldn't feel comfortable at all. And obviously, if you look at it retrospectively, Mike's like, oh yeah, I was like perfectly comfortable and I was right. Like, sure you were right, but I mean, you shouldn't allow yourself, that comfort in Survivor.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It could be, a little mistake he made in the game. It doesn't feel like a big move at all. It really doesn't. It just feels like a little move he made. But like, it could be like, a little mistake he makes in this game. I don't think this is like something you do and you win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and especially since he's doing his confessional. He's like, I died. A piece of my soul crumbled to smithereens when I threw the challenge. Like, I will never be the same person following that, my integrity being shattered. But it's like, okay, so it's like if it's that big of a deal, why'd you do it? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll really have to see how it plans out. There's no like, Vision 2020. You can't really see into the future in this thing, and I guess we'll have to see how it plans out for like the whole blue collar.
what do you think about the turtle reward? Because I thought that was kind of lame.
Yeah.
If I was, I thought like, oh, we're gonna be like when I first like heard it was like turtle related, I was like, oh, they're gonna go on like a scuba diving trip with like and see some turtle fucking sanctuary or something. But it's just like flashlights at like a turtle,
Yeah.
burying eggs. I thought it was like, you come on, and then obviously it's like, cue bullshit analogy. It's like, oh yeah, I was really surprised that the turtles, only have like a 1 in 120 chance of like living, but I have a better chance of winning Survivor, and that's pretty cool, bro. And it's like, what, like, why, what am I watching? Like, why do I care? I just hate like the book because it's like BS analogies are the worst thing ever. I already talked about it like in casting and stuff. Like, oh yeah, being a park ranger is super helpful in Survivor because all the time I have to make tough decisions on who to trust and who not to trust when I'm on a trail, and they're telling me, oh, that's not my cigarette bud. I'm preventing forest fires. I have to see if I believe them. It's just like,
You know,
stop with the analogies, man. It's not working.
being a park ranger really helped me learn you have to know when to put the green onions in the omelet.
Exactly, exactly. But
You
I
can
don't
say
know.
that for anything. You can say that for anything. No,
You can say it for anything.
I totally get it. I totally get it. I think they're stupid fucking analogies. I hated Drans, but I think that I could maybe be editing like winnerish. She seems to be like going far into the game with that.
I,
Like,
I I don't think she's
but
winning. I definitely feel like there's something gonna happen with her. Like I feel like whatever the special power is, the new the twist or whatever, it might fall in her hands. She
mhm,
might do something crazy, get out like a Tyler, get out a big move, and then maybe be the person that like fourth or fifth place or something.
yeah,
Um,
but
I
like,
don't, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But if I was on Survivor, I would
mhm,
I would give him good material to work with, but I wouldn't do
mhm,
the cliche like fucking analogies like that.
yeah, the one I really hated from this season was Shirin being like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in like rich Orange County neighborhood, and like it was so hard for me because people would tease me and stuff." I'm like, "Fucking, you lived in Orange County in a rich neighborhood, okay? That is not something you should be crying about. That is something that's like you're really privileged to fucking live there, you know? I
Yeah,
don't know."
I think bullying is horrible, but like Joaquin in one of his exit interviews was like, Shireen like constantly complained about being bullied, and I was like, maybe there's and she was like, well, Joaquin said that like maybe there's a reason why you're being bullied because you're so annoying and you're so weird all the time, and I just feel like what, like if you're completely if you're gonna be singing you know the national anthem to the people in the shelter, don't go crying when you're watching the TV set and they're saying that you're an annoying piece of shit because like they're starving on the island, you are being annoying. Don't like be a martyr,
Yeah.
I didn't like to hear it. I'm not. I'm glad I didn't pick Shireen, you know, for my fantasy team. I think she's in a pretty good position now. She could make it far. I just don't like, and just the editing with her. It's so annoying. People are like, oh yeah, like a redemption edit. Like she gets two good confessionals, and all of a sudden everybody's like switched on her. I just don't like how the editing's like negative, 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 and then like two sentences of bullshit, and they expect us to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And I feel like the sad thing is the majority of America is fucking falling for it.
Okay. Hey, man, Americans can do what they want to do. I mean, you can see through the bullshit, though. So that's all that matters.
that is you're right. That is all that matters.
What do you think the funniest part of this episode was?
Uh, I don't know. Oh, hi. Um, I think I don't know what the funniest part of the episode is. What do you think?
I think maybe the what was it Rodney where we're at apple and oranges? That was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
I don't have a trophy right now, so I can't give him anything. But
Yeah, well, Rodney, you'll get it later. Be in contact with us. Check our Twitter, and we'll get it to you eventually, pal. I hope you do good on the island, and peace out, Rodney.
peace out. So are you pumped for the merge next week?
Yeah, I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped. I want this game to kick off. Let's see what they can do. Let's see how hyped this season actually is.
I think that even if this has like the best, you know, really really strong post merge, I still don't think it's as good as Kagayan. I'm not. It would have to be insane every single episode for it to match that. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I
But I'm
mean,
still pumped. I'm still pumped.
Cooking had so much like great stories pre-merge. It had such a solid pre-merge and then like such a solid merge that like made it. It was so interesting, Tony's antics, the way he like kind of manipulated the whole game, or it's like it made it interesting for us as viewers, like keeping Spencer around and stuff like that. I really don't see there like being like I don't really see that happening this season at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be. The good thing is I feel like it's gonna be pretty unpredictable, um, for at least next episode,
Yeah.
hopefully. Um, but I just hope that the people who I just don't want to sit through like people who are playing horrible games, a horrible
Hmm.
game making it far, and not even for the purpose of like a strategic mastermind, like taking them further, as a game move, like oh I want to bring these people along with me, just like them kind of bumble fucking their just tumbling into fourth place, not even for any really good reason. So I'm hoping we get to see some. I like seeing good gameplay and good TV and funny stuff and intense stuff. And I just feel like it's kind of been like the drama has been just kind of unpleasant in my opinion, and
Hmm.
it hasn't been much. So hopefully there'll be a change.
Yeah. I mean, we deserve it. Jeff hyped it up himself. I have it on record. Like, I want to see it live up to this shit.
Yeah, it's been 5 weeks of mediocrity right now. So hopefully we can turn over a new leaf. But I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah. So, you ready? We're gonna do a Big Brother Canada podcast too. So if anyone wants to watch that, they'll be on this YouTube channel, and we're pumped about that too. And we'll still be doing Survivor. We'll still be keeping up with that every week. And you know, I guess Canada's gonna Big Brother Canada's only gonna be once a week though, because we can't really like podcast 3 times a week. But we'll definitely keep you updated on that too. So
Okay, yeah. So stay tuned for BB Canada, but see you next week for Survivor. Okay, see you, Jack.
see ya.